Hello all, this is Halloween, and if you love haunted places and cemetery tours as much as I do, you may want to subscribe because I'm going to be taking you somewhere new every week. In today's episode, we're headed to Buffalo, New York to visit the Forest Lawn Cemetery. This is the home of the final resting place for Rick James. If you don't know who Rick James is, you soon will. Enjoy! We're here at Experience in the Elmwood District. Gonna go in and get a bite to eat. We're here at Forest Lawn Cemetery, and they're celebrating 175 years of being a cemetery. This is located in Buffalo, New York, very close to where we just had breakfast. Let's go in and see what we can see. Just look at this beauty. Gorgeous, huge cemetery. I just got myself a map from the front. This is gonna tell us where all the VIPs are buried, and look how big it is. Pretty big cemetery. Look at this amazing headstone. It is huge. And right here, an angel looking onto it. This is gonna be one of my favorites. This is so awesome. I am very interested in this mausoleum up here. You can see right through the glass. Look at this. Look at this one. It says, "May death to us an open door to an eternal morning be." DeWitt Green. DeWitt Sea Green. Wow. But look at this here. This is amazing. What in the world? I've got to look at my map and find out the significance here. This is insane. That's awesome. Look inside there. The statue is amazing. You can walk around the thing. Isn't that cool? The angel over him. So neat, so detailed. says these statues represent Mr. and Mrs. John Blocher or Blocher, standing beside their only child who died following a year's illness. The statue above is imaginative. The tomb is beneath the floor of the monument. Very cool. Probably one of the coolest things I've ever seen in a cemetery, actually. And it's just huge. Neat. We're just walking through the cemetery right now. We're looking for Rick James. Because he's Rick James, bitch. It's a huge cemetery. So many awesome memorials. One of my viewers had mentioned that there was a Sphinx in the Spring Grove Cemetery in Cincinnati. And I found one here in Forest Lawn, which is so cool. There's a little bit of everything here. And what else is really cool? Look at this. Look at the detail. Isn't that awesome? You have the wings here on the side of the mausoleum. Not many people here today. Man, like if I lived here, I'd be here all the time. It's a great place to just relax and look at all of these really awesome headstones. Where did they go? There's a lot of stone couches in this particular cemetery as well. Something I've never seen before that seems to be unique to this cemetery. It's not just benches. They are stone couches. I'll show you one. These over here are really ornate. Look at that. Isn't that cool? Just a little stone couch. This one's more bench style, but I've seen some that actually look like cushioned couches, which is neat. A lot of obelisk style monuments in here. A whole bunch of those. We're still looking for Rick James, but I ain't mad about it because there's so much beauty to see here at the Forest Lawn Cemetery. And believe it or not, as sort of narcissistic as he was, what I've seen of his gravesite is pretty modest for Rick James, in my opinion. You know, it's not huge or crazy. Nothing crazy, just a black marble headstone. So, we're looking for that now. But look at all these beautiful monuments. Now, it's very hilly in this cemetery. There's a lot of dips and bumps, so you need to watch where you're walking. I almost fell into my own grave back here because there was a big old dip in the ground. Old headstones. So 175 years this cemetery has been established. Listen to the church bells they have. All of the best cemeteries have church bells. I mean, and it sounds so cool in a cemetery if you can catch that. So section 10.5, this is where Rick James is supposed to be buried, around in this section. A man just told us, and he said walk 50 feet in. We are in the section where Rick James is buried, and I can see him from here. Pretty exciting. You can see it right over there. So this is section 10 of the cemetery, and he is Very close to the water. Look at the ducks. They're huge. They're everywhere too. That must be all the scat I'm seeing. It's from the ducks. I'm seeing all kinds of little poop piles, so be careful where you walk in this cemetery. But I see Rick James. Look at all the ducks. There's so many. They're just running around here. You have a beautiful home, ducks. Here he is, the super freak. So it's real close to Delaware Street and the creek. He's kind of like nestled into a little corner of the cemetery here. You'll see his plot online. It's really not shaded. It's kind of out in the middle of the sun. So here he is. Wow. Cool. Rick James. I've had it all. I've done it all. I've seen it all. It's all about love. God is love. James Ambrose Johnson Jr. February 1st, 1948 to August 6th, 2004. Wild, because August 6th is Lucille Ball's birthday, and that's our next stop, is to see her and the Lucille Ball Museum. But my favorite memory of Rick James has got to be the Chappelle Show. That's the most recent memory, and he was a funny guy. He actually was really funny. Like one of those naturally funny people with just not even meaning to be funny. My favorite part is when he said, "Hell no, I didn't grind my feet into nobody's couch. I got more sense than that." And then 2 seconds later, they show his clip again saying, "Yeah, I ground my feet into his couch." Talking about a party at Eddie Murphy's house that he went to, and he had a big white new couch, and Rick James, he got up on the couch with his big platform boots and ground his dirty feet into the white couch. And he said, "That's okay. He's Eddie Murphy. He can get another one." So, yeah, people have left pennies, guitar picks. I actually have a penny I can leave. They have a little QR code here that you can scan with your phone. Let's see what it does. You see my phone? App Rick James, Forest Lawn. It's buffering. There's ads.
Was born on February 1st, 1948, right here in Buffalo, New York. Growing up, music was always an important part of his life. He was inspired by great singers like Marvin Gaye and Smokey Robinson, and as a teenager started singing in doo-wop and R&B groups. After entering the U.S. Navy to avoid being drafted, he deserted to Toronto, where he formed the rock and R&B group the Mynah Birds, whose lineup once included Bruce Palmer, Neil Young, and Nick St. Nicholas. His time with the group was short-lived after he was discovered with the group in Motown in 1966. Deserting the Navy caught up with him, and he served a one-year prison term. After his release, he moved to California to continue his band, the Mynah Birds. After that group broke up, he began a series of rock bands in California and worked for Motown as a songwriter under the alias Ricky Matthews. In 1977, he signed with the Motown record label Gordy Records as a recording artist and released his debut album, Come Get It, in April 1978. The album sold over 2 million copies and launched his career into the mainstream as a funk and soul artist. His most popular album, 1981's Street Songs, launched him into superstardom thanks to the hit singles Give It To Me Baby and Super Freak. He died in 2004 from heart failure. He was 56 years old.
Wow, little history on Rick James for you.
Your final plans and
see who this handsome young man is. Giuseppe Verdi, 1813 to 1901. Giuseppe Verdi is credited with having invented the Italian national operatic style. Born the son of a poor grocer in Liranco, Italy, Verdi began composing at age 13 after failing the entrance exam at the Milan Conservatory. He began private lessons with a former member of the orchestra at La Scala in Milan. He married the daughter of his patron and ultimately began his own career in opera in Milan in 1839. His best known works include Rigoletto, Aida, Il Trovatore, and La Traviata. Forest Lawn thanks the City of Buffalo, Buffalo Arts Commission, and the Federation of Italian American Societies for this bust sculpted by Dr. Antonio Ugo of Palermo, Italy. It was cast in 1905 by Fonda Art of Naples, Italy. The granite was designed by Tom Koch in 1996 and produced by the Stone Art Memorial Company of Buffalo. It is dedicated this 28th day of September 1996 in tribute to the many accomplishments of the Italian American community in this cemetery, the city of Buffalo, and all of Western New York. There are a lot of Italians in New York, so this seems to just be a cenotaph commemorating Giuseppe Verdi, who was a famous composer. He's not laid to rest here. It's just a memorial to commemorate his life and the impact he probably had on the Italian community of New York. There's a beautiful bridge here and creek I just wanted to show you. And all these little duckies. So many ducks. And they just kind of follow you around a little bit. But there's got to be hundreds of ducks here if you're a duck fan. This Lipsy monument is pretty outstanding. Huge. Very modern. Modern styled. Which isn't usually my favorite. But this thing probably cost $1 million. So the Lipsy family must be very important here in New York and Buffalo. I mean, that's a lot of work for just a couple of people. You know, it's just two. It's Judith Lipsy and Stanford Lipsy. So it's just a couple of people. Look at this Alessi family monument. Now I'm wondering if this is the Alessi family prominent in Tampa that owns Alessi Bakery. They could very well have came from New York. The Alessi family, it's huge, huge monument. Really cool. It says, pray for us, has Jesus there at the top with an angel until we meet again. There's a Daniel Mario Bracco, a Lucy. Looks like a couple of Lucys. Angelo, Mario, Salvatore, Sarah, another Salvatore, a Paul, and a John, and a Frank. So a very large family plot here with just one headstone, a huge headstone naming them all. I wanted to check this Kramer mausoleum out. It looks really cool. You can walk right up to it. There's a glass door, so you can look inside, which is cool. I like to look inside. See that? Several urns on top. And several inserts. Looks like 4, 8, 10 inserts. Very cool. John A. Kramer and Eleanor Kramer. Very pretty stained glass too. This is a huge cemetery. You gotta wear comfy shoes. It's very hilly and it's a warm day. It's not as hot as Florida, but it's a warm day today. Oh, I wanted to show you these little couches. They're kind of everywhere, scattered about the cemetery. We were looking for Millard Fillmore, the U.S. president, who's also buried here. Can't really find him. It's hard to find people in this cemetery. I find it kind of hard to navigate through, even with a map. There's not really like big signs like other cemeteries have telling you so-and-so is this way or so-and-so is that way. It's kind of like you have to just know your way around the cemetery or run into somebody that knows their way around the cemetery, because it's really hard to find people in here. I'm hoping we can at least find Kristen Pfaff. She was a bassist for the band Hole from 1993 to 1994, and she passed away of a drug overdose in 94. But aren't these cool? Look at these little seats. They're stone. There's one here, and there's one here, a little couch. I just think they're so cool. This is a beautiful mausoleum here. Statura, but look at this door. Isn't that neat? Very pretty, almost Grecian looking. They might be Greek. And that's the inside the mausoleum. Oh, looks like we have a veteran. Oh, beautiful wedding photo back there. Oh, that's cool. And of course, beautiful stained glass as well. Very pretty. We got some marble pillars here on the outside. It's very scenic here. A lot of gorgeous trees. One of my favorite things about Buffalo has been the Christmas trees just kind of growing out in the wild. There's been a lot of Christmas trees. I think they look really cool. But look at all these pretty trees, all different colors. It is fall. You know, fall is pretty much here as far as the months go. It's warm for fall, but all the trees are starting to kind of start changing colors a little bit. This one here, pretty. Very cool. We may still find Millard Fillmore and Kristen Pfaff, but man, you can spend a whole day in this cemetery. Here's the creek. A beautiful little creek. Tell you what, these ducks have it made. How cool is this? They've put their handprints on here. Judy Goodyear, Dorothy Safran, and Jill Safran. And a kitty on the top. That's so cute. I wonder if we have the same size hand. Yeah, pretty much. Cool. Let's check out this beautiful monument over here. I love this with the columns. So cool. This one I believe is in the map because look at it, it's huge. George Kingsley Burge and Carrie Humphrey Burge. This is a similar style to Jackie Gleason's memorial in Miami, but it's bigger. This is the Burge Family Memorial. And it's gorgeous. This is a volunteer fireman memorial erected by the Firemen's Benevolent Association. It says 1901. Very cool. I love the uniformity of these headstones. Very neat. Very nicely done. It says this plaque honors the firemen of Buffalo and Erie County, past and present, whose courage, skill, and dedication have safeguarded the lives and property of our community. It says donated with gratitude and respect, Forest Lawn Cemetery and Garden Mausoleums, October 10th, 1984. It's a very neat monument. We are in section 6, visiting the grave of whole bassist Kristen Pfaff. And she was pretty easy to find. So if you find section 1-6, it's not 16, but 1, it's like the first section of section 6. She's in that section. And pretty easy to find because she's got a pretty big headstone. And her grave marker just simply says Kristen on it. This is it right here. Kristen Pfaff, formerly of Hull, died in 1994 of a drug overdose. See if the back of her stone says anything. Nope, very simple. Looks like something was supposed to be right there, or maybe used to be right there. I don't know. I feel like a picture of her needs to go there or something. But this is her gravesite. Kristen Pfaff, formerly of the alternative rock band Hole. We're headed out of the cemetery now. It's way too big to see it all, and you will need to drive to most of your spots. Everybody's pretty spread out, so also watch out for the duck poop. It's everywhere. There's a million ducks here, so you're gonna run into that. I'll see you at the next one. Thank you so much for joining me again today. I hope you loved today's episode. A couple things I have to say about Buffalo. We really enjoyed our stay there, but it seemed pretty empty. There wasn't a lot of people around. We went to Southern Tier Brewing. There is one in Buffalo. If you love Southern Tier Brewery, which I love, they actually make the Pumpkin and the Warlock. They've got the 2X IPA. They have a whole bunch of really good beers, and they're really, in my opinion, they're really great at seasonals. But we went to the Southern Tier Brewing Company located in Buffalo. There's also the original one in Lakewood. which we could have gone to, but we didn't really have time. And we got stuck at another brewery, but that's a different video. If you do go to Buffalo and you want to have buffalo wings in the original location that actually invented the buffalo wing, and you talk about it to any of the locals, they're going to deter you from going to that location. So we didn't get to eat buffalo wings at the Anchor Bar, who actually invented the buffalo wing, I don't know, a long time ago, maybe 1980s or something, maybe even earlier than that. But we saw it on Foods That Built America. If you've never watched that show, I think it's like on the History Channel or something. Foods That Made America or Foods That Built America. So it was obviously a place that we wanted to go, but all of the locals told us not to, so we didn't. And we ended up going to Pearl Street Bar and Grill. Pearl Street Bar and Grill was fine, but it wasn't, their wings, I mean, we have better wings here in Florida. But on the way home, when we were at the airport, there was an Anchor Bar in the airport. And me and my husband, there was no one there to deter us. So we were like, you want to give it a go? So we did. And I don't know if it's a fluke because it was the airport Anchor Bar and they have to be good because they're in the airport, or what. But they had really excellent wings. Hindsight, I would have gone to the original Anchor Bar just to see where buffalo wings were invented. But we ended up going to the one in the airport and they were awesome. They were big. They were crispy. The blue cheese was amazing. That's all the elements you need for a great chicken wing. So, I will say that about Buffalo. Rick James's resting place was modest. But like I said, a lot of these big celebrities have these modest burial sites, and you're just kind of surprised. Look at, I mean, we're going to go visit Lucille Ball's gravesite, and that's very basic and very modest too. But then you got this guy Lipsy buried there in Buffalo, who was a journalist, photographer, and publisher. And he's got like the Taj Mahal as his final resting site. So, I mean, it's always a surprise to see that to me. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this episode, and I hope you'll stick around for more. If you haven't already, please remember to like, subscribe, and share the video, and I'll see you next time.